Yo, what's going on everybody? It is Straight to the Boss here, and today I'm back for episode number 21 of my Tour de France Pro Team series here on Tour de France 2015. So we're continuing on with the Tour de France, of course, the 2019 Tour de France. We are continuing through the Pyrenees here. Christophe Riblon trying to protect his position in the top 20 overall. So we're going up the Col de Tourmalet here. This was kind of an interesting stage. We actually had Peter Conrad in the breakaway. You can see I'm controlling him here, but Conrad would not prove to be successful, but I thought I'd highlight that he was in the breakaway anyway. Now you can see we're back to Riblon, and he's sort of struggling to keep up with the group as the pace picks up here, of course. The Tourmalet, not the final climb of the day here, kind of unusual, but the middle climb of the day, actually the third climb of the day. We've got one more after this. It's a short category 2, but anyway, we're starting to lose contact with the group here, but I know we've got a long descent ahead, so I think if I can just minimize Riblon's deficits here, we'll be able to catch back up on the descent. You can see 5 kilometers to go from the summit, though, so a long ways to go up this climb, and then still sort of struggling. The peloton, though, not too far ahead, and you can see we're passing Roman Krusiger here, so we're not the only one struggling with this beast of a climb. The Tourmalet, of course, one of the most famous climbs in the Tour de France, for those who don't know. Very steep, very long, and a lot of great battles on this mountain in previous tours, but here we go now. Of course, I don't know why the tour organizers do this, where they put it. Like, I guess I can sort of understand it because they did both the Tourmalet and Alpe d'Huez this year. So, you know, doing mountaintop finishes on both of those could be a bit excessive, but I don't know, it feels like kind of wasting. It's like a waste of the Tourmalet if you're going to put it in the middle of a stage like this, because they're really not going to see a lot of, you know, attacks or anything. It's not going to be quite as dramatic as it could have been otherwise. But either way, we passed Conrad on the road there, so you can see his day is not going so well. He's actually catching up, though, on the descent, and we would catch back up to this group. So we've got a pretty big group here. What is this like? This has got to be 15 riders or so. And then the peloton right up in front, and there we go. We catch up to the leaders. It's not even the peloton at this point, but we catch up to Nibali, Pinot, Froome, the rest of the leaders. So we're back together here as we start up on the final climb of the day, and then Riblon already sort of struggling, the pace picking up, and I know I'm not going to be able to match it, so I'm just going to try and ride my own tempo here, try to find a good pace, and get Riblon up this mountain as quickly as I can here, try to preserve our spot in the top 20. I think we enter the day in 11th overall, but we'll see where that goes after this stage. So anyway, just riding with ourselves, basically, you know, no teammates around, but like I said, pretty much keeping a steady pace and riding it all the way to the end with the final kilometer here. Riblon gets into the sprint, and he's going to cross the line in 20th position on the day, and pretty successful, I would think. You know, top 20 for Riblon on a stage like that, not too shabby. And as you're going to see, we maintain our position in the top 20. We get 20th on the day, and let's see where we are in the overall. We actually lose 2 spots, but we still in the top 20, as I said, 13th overall, and you can see I think we lost those spots to Roland and TJ Van Garderen, so no big deal there. And now we've got one more day in the Pyrenees here, including the beast of a climb, the Plateau de Beille. And here we go now, going up the category 1 here, the second to last climb of the day. Once again, Riblon just trying to keep him in the peloton here, make sure the pace doesn't get picked up, and just riding sort of in the middle of the group here, but no real excitement yet. Now the pace is getting picked up, as you can see some accelerations going on from the front of the group. I'm not going to try and respond. I know my energy is getting really low at this point, and I know, like I said, if I just minimize the deficits, I can catch back up on the descent, so I'm not too worried yet. So here we go now. I know Riblon's going to struggle, though. I mean, the third day in the Pyrenees like this, it's going to be a tough one for the riders like Riblon, who aren't quite meant for the high mountain racing like this. You know, Riblon, at this stage in his career, kind of more of a puncher. You know, a guy who can win a stage, but is not going to really last over a 3-week race. So I knew that the third day of the Pyrenees like this was going to be a bit of a struggle, and it turned out to be, as you will see when we get onto the Plateau de Beille. But here we go, though. I catch back up to the peloton on the descent as I planned it, and we would remain with the group all the way to the bottom of the final climb of the day here, the Plateau de Beille. But you can see already the pace getting a little too hot for Riblon, so I'm just, like I said, riding my own pace. I don't want to expend too much energy on the flat portion here. I know I'm going to need all of the energy I can save when I get onto the mountain here, because, like I said, this is a beast of a climb, very steep and very long, a Tour de France favorite for those who don't know. But here we go now, and there's Rein Terme falling off the group, and Riblon, like I said, just taking it easy. Don't want to push it too hard. We've already fallen more than a half minute behind the peloton here, so I'm not really even worried about catching back up to them. I know that we are not going to see them the rest of the day, so we're on to the climb here. This is already a 9.9% section, pretty absurd, and you can see the pace really going slow here, only 16 kilometers an hour. I don't know, I can't translate, what's that, like 10 miles an hour or something? I can't even translate that, but either way, it's got to be less than 10 miles an hour, actually, now that I think about it, so, or, maybe not, I don't know. Either way, here we go, though, coming up the climb. Like I said, I'm not really too worried about finding a group or anything on these climbs. I just try to ride my own pace and try to continue that strategy, but this is such a long climb. We've still got 12 kilometers to go. I've got no energy bar left. I had to use it up already. I don't remember when. I think I might have used it up on the Cat 1 climb from earlier in the day, but as you can see, really struggling. Here's Michael Kwiatkowski. I mean, we're certainly not the only one struggling. Kwiatkowski, the world champion this year. Right, I guess last year, now that Sagan's won it, but the world champion last year, struggling, as well as the King of the Mountains, Jersey Valls, and Tommy Voigtler, good French rider right there, guy who held the yellow jersey for a majority of the 2011 tour. That was one of my favorite tours personally in the past. I was rooting so hard for Voigtler. Unfortunately, he could not get it done. There's Steve Cummings, the Tour de France stage winner this year, Frank Schleck, among some other notable riders. But you can see at our position, you know, only about 39th on the day right now, so not quite as good. You know, I think a good benchmark to get in the top 20 overall is to try and ride in the top 20 in every stage. But right now we're 39th, so we know we're going to be losing some time here to some of the guys around us. But coming up, final 200 meters here, right to the finish, and we finish in 40th overall on the day. So we'll see how that affects our time in the GC. You can see Froome wins the day. I think Nibali's still in yellow, though. I think he got a really big lead early on, but we fall 6 positions down to 19th, so not a good day for Riblon, but luckily we are out of the Pyrenees, so he's going to have some time to recover and hopefully be ready when we get up into the Alps, because the Alps, we've got 4 Alp stages coming up. Those will all be in the final episode, I believe, for this year's tour. But anyway, we've got some in-between stages. So we've got the road into Rodé now, featuring this short little Category 4 climb. So I've got Riblon here, and I'm actually going to switch over to Filippo Pozzato, because I thought Pozzato had a better chance of maybe not winning the stage, but getting in the top 20 or so. And this climb, you know, at this point we're 1.5 kilometers from the finish, so I figure, you know, if Riblon does lose time, it's going to be like a second or two maybe. I mean, I'm really not concerned about it. But Pozzato really wasn't feeling that well either today, and then I tried to take his energy bar, but it was too late. So if I wanted to use Pozzato, I should have controlled him earlier and just let Riblon ride on his own. Instead, I sort of screwed myself over, and Pozzato can't sprint right now because I'm using the energy bar. So I'm going to lose a ton of position here and really not be able to contend for a high overall spot. In fact, I think Van Baarle's probably going to come in ahead of us here. Oh, maybe not, actually. He looks like he's cracking, but Pozzato now crossing the line here. He will come across in, what is this, like 100? Yeah, about 100th right there. So not a good race on my part. That was but, you know, on the bright side, it wasn't like it was a, you know, big deal or anything. So, and Riblon does get the same time as everyone else. He actually finishes ahead of Pozzato, ironically enough. Now we've got the road into Mond, another one of these sort of in-between stages with a bit of a climb at the end. But this one was interesting, as you're going to see the pace getting picked up here on the short little Category 2 climb here early in the stage, about 37 kilometers to go. We got 5 kilometers left on this climb, and already being some gaps, and you can see Chris Froome losing some time there. Now I'm just going to end up trying to stick with these guys, you know, Galopin, Mentes, Edvald Boasson, as the peloton riding away from us a little bit. But like I said, there's a bit of a descent, and I'm thinking, you know, if I can just minimize my losses, I know I can make up for it when I get on the descent. Though you can see not too far behind, there's Fabio Aru, the Vuelta winner this year, but yeah, not too far behind the peloton. We've only got about 500 meters left on this climb, 600, 700 meters, something like that. So here we go now on the descent, and I'm following Edvald Boasson, a pretty good flat rider, and I'm going to use him to catch up to the peloton, get back with the leaders here while I try to regroup some of my energy. You can see I've got no energy bar. Once again, I've already had to use that up, so a little bit disconcerting there, but we do eventually make our way back up to the peloton. But once again, you know, Riblon lacking the blue energy, and I'm really thinking, you know, as great as it is to get into the Tour de France this year, you know, getting a top 20, it'd be great, because then I would, you know, unlock even more riders to get on the team next year. But I really don't. I mean, considering we just barely qualified for the tour, I'm really, you know, not expecting to maintain my spot in the top 20. But anyway, here we go now, coming up on the Cat 3 climb here. Once again, losing contact, but not too much. And, you know, once again, a little descent here. I'll be able to catch back up. No big deal. So here we go now on the descent. We come over the climb. We've got about 9 kilometers to go on this stage. Here we go, 7 kilometers left. I'm catching back up, as I mentioned, along with this Vachon rider for the Bretagne team. And here we go back with the peloton. So here we go on the final climb, and there go some riders at the front. Some attacks being put in. Now I decided to try to counter here, because I thought I was going to have the energy to keep up, but little did I know, this was just a poor decision on my part. I quickly realized, what am I doing here? There's no way Riblon's going to be able to keep up with these guys. I got to keep riding my own pace like I usually do. And so I get back into the saddle here and just try to find a good tempo, but I kind of fall back. Nibali kind of struggling here a little bit, but we would finally come over the climb, and then the final 2 kilometers are downhill, as you can see. So these are going to whip by, and here we go now on the downhill. We're quickly coming up on the Flamme Rouge here, 1 kilometer to go, and I'm in about 21st position here, so I'm not going to lose any time on the leaders, and I'm not going to lose any time on the guys around me, which is really all that matters at this point. Riblon finally cracks here at the end, but we're going to come across in, let's see, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, it looks like, 25th on the day. So not too shabby there, and like I said, the big thing is we don't lose time, which is really all that matters. So, alright, we've got one more stage. It was supposed to be kind of an inconspicuous flat stage, but you're going to see it's going to turn out to be a little bit more interesting than I had originally thought it was going to be. So this is supposed to be a day for the sprinters, but the high winds are going to have an effect on this one. You can see we're past that Category 2 climb into the final, 40 kilometers or so. But look at how thin and spread out the peloton's getting. The strong winds here, the crosswinds are going to, potentially create some splits here in the group. So I'm going to try and get Riblon up to the front of the peloton here. I've got Pizzotto protecting him because Pizzotto is a really good rider in the flat. He's got a really high flat rating, so I figured he'd be a good man to protect him. But I'm trying to keep him up at the front here. You can see, look at how thin and spread out this is getting, and here come the gaps. So Riblon looking at potentially losing time here with 10 kilometers to go, trying to stick onto the back, but struggling to do so. And now here we go, about 7 kilometers to go with this secondary group of riders, but the peloton is up in front of us, and that contains a group of mainly most of the favorites. So a little bit disconcerting here as we come under the Flamme Rouge. 1 kilometer to go now. Looks like the peloton is about to finish. They've got 400 meters to go, so we're about 500 meters behind them. That should create a little bit of a time gap. As you're going to see, it is the sprinters that do end up taking the stage, though. I don't know who won it, but I saw Cavendish and Damar and some other names there come across in the top 10. So I don't know if it was an effort being put in by the sprinter teams or the GC teams or what it was, but anyway, it was the breakaway that actually won that stage. Martens got it done, but we would get the same time, and there wouldn't actually split up the times. I was surprised to see that, so it wouldn't have even mattered if Riblon was even further behind than he already was. He would have gotten the same time, so we don't lose any time. We maintain our spot 19th overall, so we've got the Alps coming up in the last episode. I'm going to do one more episode for this year's tour, but until then, that is going to do it, so I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'm out. Peace.